Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. There are ghosts
Morning.
in the machine everywhere today. Hello, Norm.
I still have not solved my ghost in the machine.
I see you're ghostly black right now.
Yeah, Monday. We'll get it fixed Monday.
So, about 15 minutes ago, the big backhoe truck showed up outside and said, "Hey, we're here to bury your internet cable." I'm like, "No, not now." And
God.
and they went and cut it. So fortunately, I run two different internet connections, so I'm able to switch to the backup. But that's caused me some measure of issue, and for whatever reason, I can't seem to connect to my trading platform. I keep getting the quote server not available, so this may be a strange day here because. We may have to do this with no charts. Oddly, Trade Ideas is connected just fine, but the charts are not working. So, um, yeah. See? Get this message? Nobody likes that message. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Look, we got to get on with the show here. It is a little bit of a red day in the market, or at least it was last time I was able to see the market. You guys all have to tell me if that changes radically, but
We are
see
down 1.2% on the SPY, 1.3 on the Qs, and it looks like it's wanting to go lower.
right. So, well, that is not. I don't know. I mean, it's not great for the markets overall, but it may be fantastic for trading. We'll have to see what happens. I am a short bias trader, so I don't mind the down markets. It provides opportunity as long as I can find an entry and then I
So
can take advantage of it.
Adrian on YouTube is saying that he had the same issue this morning, and you have to change quote servers.
Yeah, I've tried that many times, but I'll keep working it here and see what I can do. Let's pick 27. Seems like a good number. Oh, whoa. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. It just switched me back to my default settings. Maybe we'll. Ta-da! All right. Look at this. We may have this solved. This time the switch to quote server worked. Okay, so look at this. We're getting up and running a little slowly here this morning. As Norm just pointed out, the market overall is down. We're seeing continuation down. So fourth day in a row, right? So far, anyways, it looks like we're going to be heading down. Of course, it could always turn around. The price action from what I see so far this morning is at least stabilized as of 7 a.m. So, maybe there's some hope, but this looks like we're going out on a very red week here on this Friday. So, Norm, anything high level that you want to point out from the market or economic events?
Um, well, I don't know why that did not update because I changed it this morning for that calendar. We've got S&P Manufacturing and Services PMI, U.S.
There you go.
Manufacturing and Services PMI at 9:45. There is an event this afternoon called Fed Listens where Jerome Powell, Brainerd, and Michelle Bowman will all be speaking and moderated by. So there is some Fed speak going on later in the day. I'm not surprised to see where we're sitting right now. That Powell comments and action by the Fed on Wednesday. Not much went on really yesterday, but a little bit of time to digest it, and then a little bit of freaking out about recession concerns. So not too terribly surprised to see what the market's done this morning.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of uncertainty and perhaps even panic in the market. So we're seeing the result of that as things steadily move down. The gappers is certainly reflecting that. If we let's just zoom in on the gappers here, and you can see we are we're pretty darn red. It's red everywhere. There's one thing sitting on the green side, and it pops on and off. I've noticed because I think it's a low float because it seems to have been on and off my list a couple of times. So we will go through this immediately. Then let's see what's happening. So the CANO.
Not a low float, by the way, but
Hold on a second. I lost my linking. Not a low float. Okay. Well, hold on. Try this. There we go. Now we're linked again. All right. So, oh, look at that. 154 million shares. So not a low float. Wow. It's been bouncing around quite a bit, though.
yeah, there's talks of this being bought out.
Okay.
And so that's why it's being held up. Now, I haven't seen any solid news that the buyout is imminent or anything of that nature, but Wall Street Journal, I guess, reported that Humana and others are considering picking this up.
So for a potential buyout, did they mention a price that they are looking to bid at?
No, it's not. It's not a deal already. It's
Okay.
It's
It's just
rumors of
speculation
multiple
of the-
parties being interested in buying them out.
Right. Okay, but they're not suggesting a price at this point. Okay. Well, look, that can often spur a jump in the price. It's pretty stable so far pre-market this morning. We've got 600,000 shares, but it's trading in a pretty narrow range, right, between 870 and 890 here. So I'm not sure what that means. At the best, this is going to go as a secondary. If Carlos is here, it might very well be a no. But we'll deal with that right now. All right, so let's go to our gap down list. As you can see, I mean, I have to scroll like 3 screens to get them all, but we'll start at the top and work our way down. ATXI, I looked at this a little earlier today, confusing me a little bit because we got about 480,000 shares traded. It says that it's up. Oh, see, that's better. That's not what I was seeing earlier. Okay. 1,170% to the massive price of $5, where, see the daily chart, it was trading at about 30 cents for the last, forever. 20
This is
cents.
garbage run from it. It's a reverse split.
Oh, okay. So this isn't even real. All right. So reverse split, for anybody who doesn't know, reverse split just essentially means they've basically collapsed to the number of shares. This looks like then it's like a 20 for, I don't know what this is.
15 for 1.
15 for 1. There you go. Okay, so 15 for 1. So for every 15 shares that you had yesterday, you would only have 1 share of this today, which is why the price looks like it's jumping up, but it's hasn't really moved. So, okay. Ignoring it. Moving on. Riot. Oh, so blockchain is down, leading the charge on the way down here with our crypto. I was reading an article this morning about a lot of negativity in the crypto space because it's sort of fallen out of favor in a lot of quarters. Not a lot of money flowing into it like there was prior. So, anyways, we're seeing continued drop here. Riot seems to be leading that charge. Unless there's any other specific news, I'll assume that is what's going on with this.
You got it, brother.
I'll put it on my secondary. Rio, we've mentioned this. I don't know why it's consistently on the list, but every day, look at what happened yesterday, right? Terrible price action. Look at this. Barely moved throughout the day. We are not going to look at it today. Mara, same situation as Riot. So we can put it on here to set some levels, but probably nothing new there. XPEV. Now, XPEV, Lee, Lucid, they've all been pretty good movers this week. I even got a trade on LI, which I don't normally. XPEV, I know a number of people were watching it yesterday. Looks like it's also showing a fair amount of weakness here today. Whoops, get back here. I assume this is just overall market sentiment pushing it. Normally, again, if there's something unique. All right.
Yep.
FCX is next on my list. Freeport McMoran. I don't usually find that this trades well at all. I actually don't even know if this is dual listed or not, but I just don't like it. I'm not sure why it's prominent here on my list today, but they're down 4.8% with only 130,000 shares. So good pricing.
Recession fears and 99% of what's on our list today. So
So there you go. You can generally apply that to everything. So recession fears, I imagine, would affect discretionary spending. I've noticed that a couple of the cruise lines are on. So CCL, oh, this thing keeps jumping around here because all of our stocks keep changing position on the gappers list as they continue to sink. But anyway, CCL and NCLH are both on the list this morning. This might be a day to trade the cruise lines as they seem to be at near the top of the list in terms of the gappers with the concerns that we've got right now in the markets. So I'm going to put CCL here.
And I'll be real frank. These were great to trade in 2020. They've been garbage for a very long time now. I don't.
True.
$9, $10 tickers. But CCL could very well go to zero at some point here in the not too distant future if we really do have a recession. So it wouldn't surprise me. They are so in debt to try to stay in business through everything that if then people don't have the money to spend to travel, they're not going to be able to handle that debt. So,
well, I can't wait to see, Norm, you pick up the Freedom of the Seas for a song and make it your own private yacht. And you can picture fishing off the side of that. Yeah, you need 200, 300 feet of fishing line just to reach the water. So
I like things with sails on them.
Yeah, you can put a sail on it if you want. All right. Well, moving on here. CVNA. This is what is this? CVNA Carvana. Yeah, Carvana. I mean, I got to imagine the news is pretty much the same in all of these. Carvana's another one. I would imagine recession fears would affect it, and we're seeing it with a steady move down. I don't even know what to pick for the list. There's a ton of options today. Unlike the last couple of days where we had very little. I mean, it's all on the red side, but there are lots of options. We're going to skip over things like Devon Energy, BHP, Vale, BP, right? Those are all the miners that we said are, haven't moved very well. Frey is still up on this list. Still a terrible trade. It seems to move pretty well pre-market. And then during the market hours, let me go back to yesterday. I mean, it looks like it was good movement, but I was watching this. I found this pretty hard to find an identified trade opportunity on it. So, or at least it didn't fit with my pattern. So, if you like Frey or you like to trade it, I mean, it could move for you. I wasn't having fun with it. So, we'll put it here as well. What else? Hey, look at this, BBBY. I'm surprised that they are even at the price that they're at. I thought they'd be at the top of the list sinking. They have had financial problems forever. And any bad news overall for the economy is not going to reflect well on them. So here they are. What else we got here? Oh my God, it's just like everything. Pick what you want.
Yeah, everything.
It's on the list.
I think today's a good day for the proxies, the Apples, the AMDs, the Tesla probably would be decent. I know, like BA, they've got news. They're settling with the SEC about the 737 issues. They were trading yesterday. I know Brian took a trade on that. I did not see. So anyway.
Let's see, Boeing today down 2% and 77,000 shares. So yeah, like we're just saying, everyone, you can pretty much pick whatever you want and trade it. It looks like most things are going to be moving with the market. So that means you've got to be very well aware of what the market is doing. I always watch SPY, SPY, and the Qs, QQQ, to make sure I know what that market sentiment is, because sometimes they will lead, sometimes they slightly follow, right? It really depends what's going on. Apple, it's always debatable. Does Apple lead the market and you can get, a sense of the moves from Apple first, or sometimes it looks like it's, just a fraction of a second behind. It depends on the day. So I think today, watch what you like, just be aware of the overall sentiment, and if it changes, then, who knows, right? Everything could go with it. So I've got a few things on the list that we can put some levels to. We'll maybe just keep an eye on that. I'm just making sure that I'm all still connected. Looks like we're still good. Um, so with that, I don't know. In the room, anything unique that you guys want to watch? Terrace, you had a beautiful mountain pass on Frey yesterday. Okay, well, awesome. That's great to hear. I didn't see one when I quickly looked at the chart, but if you got a great trade off it, then I'm all for it. Nightface is asking, is Microsoft also a proxy for the S&P? You know, I personally don't like trading Microsoft, and I would suggest that maybe it isn't. Like, just based on yesterday, for example, I think yesterday Microsoft was like the only thing that was staying green while the entire market was moving down. So it did not seem to be following the overall trend of the market. So I would lean more towards, like Norm was mentioning, right? The Apples, Tesla, even AMD, they all tended to just follow along. Microsoft was doing its own thing, and that can be good or bad depending on your perspective. But I don't know that you want to use it as a proxy at this point. All right, what else we got here? Looking at the comments. People are talking about sticking with stocks with news today. Costco has news. Well, it looks like everything else. Sorry?
Just doesn't trade great usually.
Yeah, I've never been a fan. It's funny, all the retail ones, I don't know why I struggle with those. Costco, Walmart, even the like Target. And I was thinking of the builders, right? Home Depot and Lowe's. I can't seem to ever trade those very well. So, but hey, if they work for you, then go for it. Costco did some weird stuff here yesterday, but that was, I guess, with the announcement information. It was jumping around. Today doesn't look that exciting. And what was the other one you mentioned? FDX. Now, FDX, of course, they came out early with their warnings of seeing lower shipment levels and a down market. They are down again today. I mean, look at that big gap, right, when they came out with that news, dropping from over 200 to 160. So, haven't been doing a lot other than steadily down with the rest of the market. So, you keep an eye on what you want. Like I said, pretty much anything you can use. All right. Somebody's mentioning Fubo. Let's look at Fubo. Fubo is up. Well, there you go. Well, there's something unique. It's actually green so far this morning. 500,000 shares traded. I don't know if that's good or bad volume normally for Fubo. Not something I normally watch. It's been holding up. I'm just looking at the daily chart fairly well, despite what the market's done here over the last couple of weeks. So, maybe let's put Fubo here on the secondary list, because, sometimes it's good to trade something that's moving its own direction and ignoring the markets overall. So, I think that's what I got for a list. I'm going to keep it at that for the moment. We will then take this as an opportunity to go to our community events. And we are on a Friday, which means our weekly slate of activities has largely been delivered. So, Norm, let me know what you'd like to cover.
Just remember, every Monday night is onboarding technology. It's with Carlos, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then a great time to join is over the weekend or on Monday for the trial membership. That way you can come in, test out the room, do the onboarding, which Mike will be covering next week with Carlos out of town, and then have the rest of the week to check out the room. Tuesdays is for strategy. Next week is Andrew. He's going to give you the 30,000 foot view of his trading, everything from his computer setup and what he looks for, what patterns he likes, everything else. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I believe we've got Randy Howell. If you would scroll down, there you go. He's going to be talking about the trading mind under stress, very important topic. That's at 8 p.m. on Wednesday next week. Then on Thursday, you've got mentorship, 11 a.m. with John, 4 p.m. with Ed, and 8 p.m. with Thor. Don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can go there and hone your trading skills for free. Also, TradingTerminal.com, be sure to check that out. We are adding all kinds of features. We now have scanners there. They seem to be holding up well. So And then if you're the trial that I was talking about, use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. It is a one-time payment. It does not recur. And if you'd like to become an elite member, use the promo code READ50 to get half off the elite annual membership and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
Excellent. All right, thanks, Norm. We're running fast and lean this morning, so we're working a little early here. So why don't we just jump into setting some levels on the things that we've identified, and we'll see where that takes us this morning. All right, like we mentioned, it's down, down, and down. I've only got 2 things on my list. Excuse me, 2 things on my list you can see that are green. Everything else is sitting in the red. So let's start with our good old Apple. Oh no. Why am I not? Hold on. Look at this. Why am I not getting a 5 minute? There we go. There's a chart on Apple. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with, like I mentioned to you all the time, I like to set my tin foil line, the 8 a.m. settlement. As you can see, Apple's got another big candle here. It's got it crosses through the price action right at $150 up to $150.56. So I will put those levels in, and then on the daily, well, we are down near the bottom of this range here. So we're actually almost outside the bottom of the last couple of days price action, and there's a low back here on the 19th of September. That is 149.10. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that. I'm going to mark it here and make sure that I keep an eye on that. And if we go lower than that, well, we've got some room to go down. I don't see any fantastic levels. There's a little bit here at 145, but oh my goodness, if we get as low as 145, you know it's going to be a bad day. So let's see what happens. Hopefully Apple holds up here, but if not, we will take advantage of whatever opportunity is presented. AMD, look at this lovely settlement candle at 8 o'clock. So I will mark that. As you all know, one of my favorites to trade. Outside the bottom of this range, I am so, like, it's messing with my head to see AMD at $67. Like, we're heading back, I feel like we're heading back 2 years into the past. So, yeah, we are down here. Levels that we haven't seen since, I mean, is 2 years even an understatement? Yeah, we haven't been, well, let's see here. We haven't been down here since July of 2020, so it's been a little while. Let's see what we've got over here. I'm just going to quickly scroll over, and yeah, look at this, right? Couple of gap levels here, so if we get down below this level, I would look for the bottom of this gap here is to see if we get any support at 64. What's the low of this candle here? 64.05. So I'm going to put a level right there. If we see that today, well, let's look out below, right? Because we could be dropping then down here to 62.33 is the high there. So I'm going to put this at 62.35. That'll give me an advance notice if we get down there. So I'm anticipating the drop today, but who knows? We may or may not get there. All right, Tesla was one of the others who said, you know, just it might be a good one to trade. Being said, something about Tesla I should mention to you. I was, we have a boot camp going at Peak Capital, and we're in week 3 of that, and our boot campers are sort of getting their feet under them and starting on their strategy setup and managing their approach to the next couple of months. And one of the things that we came up with, somebody was trading Tesla and was struggling with it and didn't realize the fact that Tesla has a pretty large spread. So now, let me explain that for a second. The spread is the difference between the bid and the ask, right? So let me just show you the spread on my screen here. So right now, the spread on Tesla is 10 cents. But that can go anywhere from 10 cents to about 50 cents in any given moment. And that can mess you up because when you enter a trade, essentially you lose the spread immediately, right? If you immediately bought shares and sold shares, you generally buy them at the ask, and sell them at the bid, right? If you're using a market order, which means you're going to lose the spread difference. On something like Apple, even pre-market, the spread is 3 cents. On an AMD, the spread is also 3 to 5 cents right now. During market hours, the spread is 1 penny almost all the time on both of those. So you need to be aware of that when you're entering a stock, because that spread can hurt you immediately. If you think, well, I'm just going to take 100 shares of Tesla, and if the spread happens to be, I don't know, let's just say for argument's sake, 50 cents at the point at which you hit the button, your P&L immediately is going to show minus $50. You just lost $50 because it's showing you the price at which you would be able to exit it. So you need to make that up. Now, Tesla moves, right? So that's not usually such a big deal. Hopefully you're going for multi-dollar moves generally when you're trading Tesla. But you've got to be very well aware of that, because that can really sort of throw you off if you're not thinking about it and you take a trade unawares. So that being said, if you have questions on spread, let me know. But let's take a look at Tesla for levels. Right, we also have this settlement candle, so let me mark this on Tesla. 8 o'clock looks good. And then we've got some ranges at the bottom here. Tesla's now moved back below 300. As I mentioned earlier this week, it was holding well above 300. That was a good sign, but look what's happened over the last 2 days. Right, dropped and dropped again. We're now way down back into this level where I was worried about it dropping. So I'm going to set a level here right at 279.35 is the low of this candle, and I want to keep an eye there, because if we start getting below that, I think there's some room to go. We could probably get down to this level here, which is 269, and then lower than that. Yeah, see, the problem with Tesla, it doesn't have good, it's not very super clear levels. I mean, there's lots of sort of support and resistance levels all over the place, but nothing where it consistently hits. The only thing I would have is way down here, but this is like 209. I mean, if we have to worry about that today, it's going to be a rough day. So we'll reevaluate if we start to see big sell-offs in it. Otherwise, that's good enough for Tesla at the moment. All right, XPEV. Look at the steady rundown in XPEV. I mean, it had some great movement earlier. It was sitting up $45, $60. Now it's back down to being a $13 stock and still dropping. So I don't even know XPEV. I can't remember. Was this at all-time lows when we looked at it? Yeah, maybe it was. We have no levels to set because we're sitting at all-time lows, and it looks like we're primed to potentially go lower. So if that's something that you're interested in, just be aware you got no levels to set. CCL looking terrible on a 1-minute chart. See these little candles? Remember me talking about that the other day? This shows signs that the algos are active. The computers are trading CCL, and primarily trading them because only a computer can trade, with the high and low. Like this candle, the high and low are both $9.19. The open and the low, and it's all in a 1 cent range, right? So that shows computer trading. It might pick up as the market's open. We'll see. From a daily chart, CCL, yeah, you see, this is what Norm was saying. Look at this. Look at how there's gaps between each one of these candles, right? Little candles with bigger gaps than they have candles, which that's usually a sign of sort of a bad trading stock intraday for day trading. Whereas you go back over here, and even just back earlier this year, right? At least you had a little more consistent candles. And then let's go back to when this thing was trading super well, right? I mean, it was, well, let's go over here. In this period, right, you get just bigger candles, more consistent movement. This gave you better trading opportunities back in 2020 when it was really dropping. So if you want to trade CCL or NCLH, just be aware it's probably, today might be a good day for it, but so far pre-market, CCL at least doesn't look good, and NCLH frankly doesn't look much better. So for levels on this, I would just watch the whole dollar numbers. $9 is a place to watch. $8.50 is also a place to watch on it. Other than that, just pay close attention. Carvana CVNA was one of those that came up. Volume is still low on this. In fact, I'm going to move this down to the secondary. I don't think we're, I need to set levels on this. I don't love the look of it, so I'm going to move it down. Boeing, being that, as Norm mentioned, they had news. The volume pre-market doesn't look great, so personally, I would just wait and see if this moves. I'm not going to set any levels on it. There's so many other things that are also gapping down. While there was news on Boeing, it doesn't mean it's going to react to it. We'll hold that for now. CANO was one that had come up earlier as a rare, one of the ones that are moving up. Again, this is CANO was not a low float, right? Yes, 154 million shares. Looks to me like it's sort of trading like a low float. We've got some gappy pre-market action, 740,000 shares, but I do not like this price action, to be honest. So we're up here at 879. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. What would I watch for? It might... Setting levels on this is tough. 9.95 here, so again, maybe a whole dollar, around $10. Keep an eye on it if it gets up there. Yesterday's close was $8.34. I would certainly watch that. King of all levels, as Jared likes to call it. Certainly keep an eye on that. It's probably it for now. Reevaluate if CANO does sort of take off and move. Then you might just start watching every dollar, right? We got 10. You would obviously watch 11 and 12. They seem to have some relevance to the chart, and go from there. Riot and Mara, roughly in the same situation here. We'll start with Riot. Notice that there's I wouldn't call this a good settlement candle on Riot, so it's moving with relatively spotty volume so far pre-market. I do think blockchain is going to see continued weakness. We're at the low end of this daily range, so this looks interesting to me that we could fill this gap that we had back here in July, which means we would get down to the bottom here, 568. 569 was the high of that. Let me put this at 5. It was 569 and a half, so let me put this at 570. That's where I'd want my notice. But, it's a $5 stock now. Oh my God, Riot is a $5 stock. Yeah, not loving it. Not loving it. But if you do, by all means, trade it. Mara's marginally better at a $10 stock. It's also at the bottom end of its range, heading into an area where it might go and sort of fill this. This is a little gap back in July, same time frame. Notice they have similar charts. So if you're watching it, watch it at sort of similar type of levels. 856 would be the top of this one. That would be something I would watch for a level on Mara. All right, FCX. I'm taking it off my list. I don't even like it. Frey. Now, somebody mentioned they had a good trade on Frey yesterday. Said, I'm not a fan, but doesn't mean, it can't be good for you. So it does have a good settlement candle. Look at this. The rest of the pre-market action, absolutely horrific. But this settlement candle was pretty good. And in fact, I was thinking the volume would be a little higher. Only 24,000 shares. So this says it has 165,000 shares. Frankly, I don't know where they are because look at this. We got 100, 200 shares, right? Many minutes. Doesn't look great today. Notice we did move up. So we had the big candle move up 2 days ago. Yesterday, we more or less opened and closed at the same level despite a little movement. And today we're back into that same range, a little bit sort of mid-range to that original candle. So I don't know if today's the fun will continue on Frey. If you like it, then look at it. The highs and lows of the previous 2 days are all I would keep an eye on right now. And then only once it breaks out of that, worry about other secondary levels on Frey. Fubo, somebody mentioned on YouTube, and again, pre-market action doesn't look great. $4. God, all these stocks that used to be fun are like a $4 stock now. I guess I would watch it down here if it breaks the low of this. 326 is the low there. So, maybe if it gets there. But again, we're trading a $4 stock, right? I find that tough to do. And then Carvana, which I just moved to the bottom. Again, moving out the lows here. This could very well drop quite a bit. Low is 23.23. I got a level set right there, and that's good. So for me, What am I going to watch? I'm going to keep an eye on I'm going to go back to my good old standbys, right? For me, that's Apple and AMD most specifically. Maybe even Nvidia. We didn't look at that this morning, but I imagine it's moving generally with the market overall so far. Tesla, like we talked about, as long as you're okay with the spread. The SPYs, if you like tracking stocks, you've got the SPYs and the Qs, and then you've got the derivatives of the Q that we were talking about yesterday, the TQQQ and the SQQQ. You could watch. Probably SQQQ is your way to go because that tracks it in the inverse. So you take SQQQ long if you think it's going to drop. The Qs are going to drop. So that might be something to keep an eye on for today. I'm not going to go further than that unless I see specific reason, right? XPEV and CCL, which are sort of next on my watch list here. I'll only keep an eye on, I think, if they really start to show some good price action once the market opens, and have a trading setup that I like. So that's my strategy at this point. Of course, we still have 22 minutes until the market's open, which means that I'm going to be reevaluating right up until the opening bell rings, because things could change a lot, right? This market sentiment, let's look at the SPY here, right? That was moving down, and we are gapping down, but we're only down by 1% now and have moved up even since, we've been talking here in the last couple of minutes. So, this could very well start making a run higher, and we may be looking at a green open. That may be a little ambitious, but the point is, just because we're down pre-market, don't assume that we're going to go down when the bell rings. We probably will.
Check out Sava real quick.
Sava, sure. S-A-V-A. Oh, somebody didn't like the news. Down 20%. Yeah, look at this. Was there something new that was released on this, Norm?
Yeah, they just had an 8K filing. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Somebody's posted. Roberto's in the room. Company has not received any termination letter, like the government agency, regarding confidential requests for corporate information and documents.
So this is a great example, guys. Remember I said I was going to continually reevaluate? Things like this can pop up, right? Sava might pop up, and you might take a look at it to see if it's an opportunity. Now, at this moment, right, with this drop down, this may not be a good stock for me because I'm not seeing it shortable. I don't have any shares for short. I know that by there's a space here underneath the anchor. If you're using DAS, it'll have an S or a T.S or a T.SSR. Anyways, it'll have letters there. If you click on it, you'll get this box that'll tell you the situation. So in this case, it's not shortable. It's marginable, but you can't short it. So being that I have no shares for short, I can't take advantage of this move down. So, looks great. There's nothing I can do about it, right? Because I can't short this. So just be aware of that. Unlike Apple, right? It's got the S, you can see. If I click on the S, my window comes up on another screen. Shortable for 10 million shares. So keep that in mind, and thank you for pointing that out. In the room, I think LBS was the first one to say no shorts available, so good for pointing that out. But thank you, Norm. It's a good ticker, to maybe keep an eye on. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's it for my list and where we're going. Like I said, we'll continually reevaluate. Our moderators are starting to put their list in. Mike's in first with he's going to watch Tesla, Apple, and Nvidia, all three that we talked about. Thor is going to watch the SPY, so the market tracking index overall, XPEV, CCL, Apple, and the Qs. So notice how they're generally sticking to those tried and true stocks that we know at least trade well and that you can take advantage of. So like I tell you almost every morning, be careful. You don't have to jump when the opening bell rings. Wait for your setup. Make sure that you have a strategy against any trade you're going to take. And if Carlos was here, he would tell you it's Friday. So make sure on Friday you want to go into the weekend not regretting your trading on this day. So make sure you trade smart, win or lose. You want to trade against your strategy, and make sure you trade maturely, right? Don't go crazy. Even if you win with a bad trade, that sets up bad habits that you don't want to have. So whatever happens, at least you can hold your head high and say, I traded to my strategy, win or lose, and I'm happy with the way I traded. Hopefully that yields a good result, but either way, that's how you want to end your week. All right, so with that, we are at 12 after 9. Still a little bit of time till the market opens. Some of our moderators are coming in with their lists. So Jared is next up, watching Tesla, Google, and Sava. I didn't take a look at Google. Maybe we'll take a peek there. Secondary is the Qs and energy stocks in general. And then Susan is watching Apple, Tesla, and the SPY overall, with a second of AMD and Amazon. Let's take a look at Google. I really haven't looked at that in quite a while. And as I expected, yeah, it doesn't look great pre-market. It could be a mover. It's sort of on par with a lot of other things as they're moving right now. So you sort of have to just pick your, pick your targets and stick with it once the market opens. The other one that's new that was mentioned here is Amazon. Amazon looking similar to Google, right? A little bit of a move up in the last few minutes following what we just saw in the SPY. So, they're all sort of trending in that same direction. Just to Apple, AMD, see, they're all making that very same move. So I think most of these are all going to be trending with the market. All right, so with that, thank you, everybody, for putting up with my little technical difficulties this morning. Thank you, Norm, as always, for being here. Trade safe, trade smart, and have a good Friday. We'll be back with you Monday morning. Engineering the Markets happens Monday through Thursday, so that means that we start at 8 a.m. on YouTube with Jared, and then, of course, we'll come in and do the pre-market show and what we just did here every single day next week. Carlos is off for one more week. Hopefully the storms have passed and he's able to enjoy himself on his vacation. And we will see him back in another week. And take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.